It's a commentary over nothing. So how do we know when the plot continues? Right now, actually.
Right this moment. Okay.
Convenient. But yeah, now we're going to have to go down the big tube whirl thingy.
So, for this part, we're going to be taking a break from the BrainScratch podcast. I know you all are immensely disappointed that we're actually going to be talking about the game for a change, but bear with us. It'll only be for a short while.
And then we'll talk about like murdering serial mascots or Doctor Who or, whatever other BS we've got. BSC? Get it?
But no, it's actually we have a long string of plot.
And is the plot about picking up this girl's car keys that she dropped into the thing
Apparently
underneath the
it's about
city?
how Cat regrets nothing.
But no, we have to just keep going down into the big scary void of death below us.
Because this woman dropped something?
She dropped a letter, yes.
I like how you spent
Write
that
a
time.
new one!
I like how you spent most of that time in actual, free fall. Because you're going straight.
Because I'm free!
So
you're
occasionally just using your gravity powers to do a bit of light parasailing and then just dropping a rock.
Well, I mean, it's the best way to do it. You don't waste any meter if you just fall normally.
Is it faster, though, than just gravitating straight down?
Skydiving head first, and she'll probably still land on her feet.
I really should have just let her face slam.
You really should have just let her. It would have been funnier. I mean, that's probably what she would have done in that situation, but...
Yeah, you gotta find the letter as we get closer to the swirling void of death.
I do like how the camera shakes and emphasizes, you entering terminal velocity.
Yeah. This game does good with the little details for things. To try and make up for its lack of, graphical prowess.
That's pretty much the way graphics work. You figure out what the limits you're working with are, and then figure out what you can do to make those limits look better. It's one of the reasons that I think games age better when they're sort of I want to say cartoony, but it's not just limited to cartoony looking games. Stylized, but limited. So game in the modern day that would translate to a game like Persona 5. In older days, it would be like Tomb Raider Legend compared to what's the most realistic game you can think of from that generation.
Apparently, we cannot gravity.
Huh?
Is Uncharted that generation, or is that the one after?
Well, I think...
You're talking about original Tomb Raider?
No, I think... actually, now that I think about it, it's an Xbox 360 game, so yeah, it's Uncharted 1. Uncharted 1 would probably have come out around that time. It's a 2006 game. So...
Yeah, while we're in the world pillar, we cannot shift gravity, so we just gotta keep falling.
Ow!
I mean, Tomb Raider Legends, to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, was a game that was made for 360 and PlayStation 2.
Oh,
and GameCube and the original Xbox, so it was kind of like the 360 version was just a shinier version of a PS2 kind of game.
Like most early 360 games.
Yeah, and it looks good at that point because it has a cartoony style. It was kind of like a smoothed out version of classic Tomb Raider's CGI style, So.
Now correct me if I'm wrong, didn't the Xbox 360 come out in like 2004? Or 5? Okay.
Right. Yeah, it came out pretty damn early, a fact for which I am still bitter.
It was the earliest console in that generation.
Yeah, and they only had to sacrifice the reliability of their hardware to accomplish it.
The reliability of the hardware and continuing to use DVDs when PlayStation 3 moved to Blu-rays.
Well, to be fair on that part, we still didn't know what storage medium we're going to use.
That was still in the middle of the HD DVD versus Blu-ray.
Yeah, and I remember reading an article that was like completely correct at the time, where they were like, "Yeah, Sony's more interested in winning the format war than the hardware war at the moment," and they're like, "Yeah, no, that's pretty much how it turned out."
And I mean, you also have to remember that at the time, Nintendo chose not to make the Wii HD because a lot of people didn't have HD TVs at that time. And to be fair, in 2006, a lot of people didn't have HD TVs. It's just that by 2010, basically everybody did.
Everyone did.
So
yeah, they underestimated how rapidly people would adjust to that.
Yeah, basically. But still, it's hindsight is 2020 though. So
Yeah.
but the Red Ring of Death thing is still kind of inexcusable.
We're already doing it.
Yep.
BrainScratch podcast is back, everybody.
Well, this is unfortunately a part where I'm just trying to fall down the world tree and not get myself killed by enemies.
Yeah, because we don't know, we haven't done any plot stuff yet. We're just trying to find this person's.
Today's person, like what plot?
So we've gone into the
HDTVs.
world pillar and cannot shift gravity for some reason.
Is the world pillar the world tree? Or
Yeah, effectively.
How are we supposed to get out?
is it
Good question.
Is it actually?
But I don't know.
Is it actually called that?
The world pillar, yeah.
I mean, is it actually called the world tree?
No, it says pillar. I just messed up.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because World Tree is Yggdrasil, so.
Yeah, they're probably trying to evoke that feeling though.
Yeah.
More or less.
There's a distinct fairy tale vibe to the art style here that's kind of offset by the steampunk, but it is there. And
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Michael Jordan took a similar route to get to Looney Tune Land.
What?
Yeah, but through the sewer, yeah.
I mean, God damn it! I can't believe we're talking about the Space Jam lore right now.
I don't know.
We don't
I
have
don't
to.
know
You
what
didn't-
you
you
guys
didn't
are
have to
talking
respond to
about.
that.
I'm talking about fairies and Yggdrasil and stuff that's relevant to what's on screen.
Fairies!
Space Jam? Really? Where did you get that tangent?
Johnny brought up Michael
You
Jordan.
remember that part in Space Jam when Michael Jordan went to go visit Yggdrasil? The world, the world tree.
Is that where you learned the Chaos Dunk?
Yeah, that's
No, Charles Barkley
Yggdrasil.
learned. Michael Jordan turns evil. Ryan. Gosh.
Yggdrasil and that general neighborhood of mythology, though, is one of those things that you actually see in anime a fair amount of the time. I mean,
Yeah.
even some arguably pretty bad stuff has.
And is
has
Space
used it.
Jam not an anime?
No.
No.
Well, here's the question: were the cartoon parts animated in Japan?
Yeah. The usage of the word anime only refers to all animation in Japan. Slang usage outside of Japan means it refers to animation specifically from Japan.
Yeah,
On the other
but
hand-
you see, a lot of Animaniacs was animated in Japan, so Animaniacs is my favorite anime.
On the other hand,
most of Batman the Animated Series was.
on the other hand, if we
Yeah,
consider
but-
that anime is really a movement, then what can we think of in terms of the literary elements of Space Jam? To consider whether or not it could be classified as anime under the assumption that anime is a movement.
Okay. You see, I will bet you any amount of money that somebody's actually tried to write a serious theatrical dissection of Space Jam before. Like, of course it's happened. So whoever pulled that straight out of their ass for their college English
Thesis,
101 final paper, please send that to us. I would love to read it. Absolutely. Unfortunately, I'm a bit shaky on my Space Jam lore because I have not watched it in quite some time. Actually, I remember the last time I watched it. It was the BrainScratch commentary on Space Jam.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit, on the other hand? Now that is lore I can get into.
Well, speaking of Space Jam, though, who's gonna? John, weren't you going to record Charles Barkley Shut Up and Jam Guiding at some point?
No, that was me.
I don't
was
remember.
going to
that
do
was
I
it.
think it was Ted. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
going to do it.
I'm not being ironic there. Roger Rabbit is actually a novel series, so there's some interesting stuff going on there.
Yeah, Roger Rabbit was a cartoon series before Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
No, it was
a
a
novel
book
series.
series.
It was a book series?
Well,
yeah.
actually, it was a book, a single book, and then there was the movie, and then there were two novels, I think, written that were in line with the movie portrayal of things by the author because he actually really liked the movie more than his own
So
version.
was the book like the same kind of idea, like there's a Toon world and a real world? and
No,
stuff like that?
no, that was movie only.
Oh, okay. Huh.
I think maybe the later books used that, but the Toons were living alongside us in the real world, and it was like all 1920s segregation kind of things going on. It was it's more interesting than it sounds.
But
he was creative with just about everything except his main character, who is the most stereotypical noir detective that you will ever read about.
Did they? Did they? Were in the novel? Was he able to use the Disney and Warner Brothers characters?
No. He made his own characters for that.
Okay. All right.
I think that happened because Disney took the movie rights for it.
Yeah, it was equivalent of the time Marvel and DC actually crossed over for a year.
Yeah. So Roger Rabbit, Jessica Rabbit, Baby Herman, and a bunch of characters who didn't appear in the movie or were modified into. There was a bug called, I forget his name. There was a bug in the book who in the movie is a buggy, as in a car. That's kind of an amusing change. What?
Herbie?
That does sound like Herbie.
It might be. He was a bug in the book who played a bit part, and they turned him into a buggy. So that was interesting design.
So interesting. In my head canon, that's Herbie the Love Bug.
I don't know his name. I haven't watched it in years. I have the movie on Vudu, so I have no excuse for having not watched it in years. I mean, I bought it like a month ago, so. But
I find it hard to sit down and watch a movie if it's not a new release in theaters these days. I don't know why. I just never have the. I'm never in the mood
to do it.
Yeah, basically.
Is it because you feel inclined to watch it all in one sitting?
I mean,
that's it for me.
I don't like stopping a movie partway through.
I kind of just treat it like a novel nowadays, especially since video players will leave off right exactly where you stopped.
Yeah, that's true, but thankfully novels have chapters, and I know that movies have scenes, but the chapter is specifically the length of the chapter is specifically
designed to be a breakup point.
Yeah, whereas with the movie, it's designed to be watched in one straight sitting. So
someone should have told television networks that, so they wouldn't have interrupted you with commercials every 15 minutes.
Oh, dude, it's the
oh
worst.
No, it was the worst because I was having dinner before this session. Dad was watching the 2014 Godzilla on TV. I got through 90% of my meal during the commercial break.
That long?
Yeah, it was 12 commercials long. It was holy shit.
How do people watch movies on television now?
They realize that people don't anymore because we all moved to better things.
They kind of do it all at once like that because they can't find natural breaking points.
Well, it's not even that. It's that they realize they have to make their money somewhere from advertisements because no one's watching TV anymore.
Yeah.
We all moved on to much better shit.
Yeah, and I guess to stop us from watching Netflix, they decided, well, we just have to stop the internet then, which is why that was their
why
only
we're
solution.
Getting net neutrality and all of the fun stuff that comes with that.
No, that's why
we're getting the net neutrality debate. I misspoke.
Yeah. Okay. Boy.
Ugh.
Just keep on going down.
That is what I call tangents. Yes, picture that as the
Volume 3.
The 90s music album. Now that is what I call tangents.
There's 100. There's 100 now. That's what I call musics.
Why?
I don't know who's still buying them.
Well, they're really geared toward whatever time they were released. These are the big hits.
I understand why they were around in the 2000s and the
late
90s, but we have the Apple iTunes Store and Spotify now. So I don't know why people still need to buy CDs with 10 singles on them.
Here's the thing about CDs. Nowadays, they're so easy to get files off of that most music player programs just let you extract them anyway. So having the hard CD is basically like having a hard copy of your favorite video game. You know, you have the hard copy, but you're probably playing it off of a fucking USB drive anyway to avoid damaging the disc. Or alternatively, your car doesn't have a USB port, and you want a CD to play in the music player.
Okay. You see, I understand that one because if you're unlucky enough to get one of those cars from, say, 2008, which just has the CD player, but no cassette and no aux cord.
I wouldn't even say you need to be unlucky for that, because there's maybe a very small fraction of people actually buy new cars. Most people buy used cars, and if you're buying a used car, you do have to be quite lucky to find one that has those modern conveniences in them.
Well, no, the aux cord is a modern convenience. I'm just saying, if you get one that's too new and thus only has the CD player, you can't even do the thing where you buy one of those cassette to, what's it called?
Auxiliary.
Cassette to MP3, yeah, it's kind of like, that's the musical version of DOSBox.
but at least it lets you listen to the music on your phone while you're driving. It's just like, if you've just got a CD player, you're screwed.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can burn CDs. That's cheap and easy enough. But
but it's still you can only listen to 10 songs at a time. Is the thing.
But it's like at that point, why work backwards? Just buy the CDs and extract them to your MP3 player for when you want to listen to the MP3 player, and then use the CDs in your car. So,
well, the car is where I do most of my music listening nowadays.
I mean, if you squint while listening to this tangent, you can kind of imagine that cat is surfing around microscopic on the inside of a very, very skeletal-looking CD player. So
what?
That's a well, I was gonna say it looked like a very, very large CD player, but then I saw the spines on the walls, and I'm like, okay, I need to alter this mental image because it's very, very weird now. All of a sudden.